The spark, the empathy switch. A story to set the stage. Goleman's brother-in-law was writing a book about a real-life serial killer, a man who had strangled 10 people. During a prison visit, he finally worked up the courage to ask the one question that haunted him. How could you do such a terrible thing to people? Didn't you feel any pity for them? The killer's reply is perhaps the most important and most chilling in this entire book. He said matter-of-factly, "Oh no, I had to turn that part of me off. If I had felt any of their distress, I couldn't have done it." Think about that. He had an empathy switch, and he flipped it to off. That switch is the gateway to cruelty. Empathy is the prime inhibitor of our worst impulses. When we can't feel with someone, we are free to do anything to them. Tonight, we meet the 3 personality types who have that switch permanently jammed in the off position. The Dark Triad, a field guide. Goleman identifies 3 types that share an emotional coldness and a willingness to exploit others: narcissists, Machiavellians, and psychopaths. Now, most of these people aren't in prison. They are our co-workers, bosses, and sometimes even people in our own families. Let's learn to spot them. 1. The narcissist, the vibe. You know this person. He's Andre, the flashy football player who is brilliant in the spotlight, but a real pain in the neck, who never helps his teammates. They can be charismatic and exciting, but everything is always about them. The motto. Their entire operating system runs on a simple code: others exist to adore me. The inner world. Their driving motivation is a constant search for glory and admiration. They need it like oxygen, often to cover up a deep inner shakiness and a lack of self-worth. The empathy problem. Their empathy is highly selective. It only switches on for people who are praising them or feeding their ego. For everyone else, they are indifferent to your needs and feelings. In one study, narcissistic men who felt rejected by a woman in an experiment were the most likely to retaliate against her, feeling she had cheated them of something they were entitled to. 2. The Machiavellian, the vibe. This is the classic kiss-up, kick-down manager. They are utterly charming to the people above them and petty tyrants to the people below. They are masters of manipulation. The motto. Their philosophy comes straight from the 16th century political strategist Niccolò Machiavelli. My ends justify the means. The inner world. They are cool, cynical, and calculating. They see life as a grand chess game, and other people are just pawns to be moved around for their own benefit. They are emotionally dry and often can't even identify their own feelings. The empathy problem. Goleman says they have tunnel vision empathy. They can be incredibly skilled at reading your thoughts and feelings, but only when they want to use that information to manipulate you. The moment you are no longer useful, their empathy vanishes. 3. The psychopath, or sociopath. The vibe. This is the most unsettling of the 3. Goleman tells of a psychopath named Peter in a hospital therapy group. While others were discussing the cafeteria food, Peter was mentally casing the joint, calculating how to rob the register and escape. The motto. If the narcissist wants your adoration and the Machiavellian wants to use you, the psychopath doesn't even register you as a full human. You are simply an object. The inner world. The crucial difference that makes psychopaths so dangerous is a missing ingredient: fear. They are immune to anxiety and stress. This means that the threat of punishment, which keeps most of us in line, has no effect on them. The empathy problem. They have zero empathy. They are literally numb to the suffering of others and have special difficulty even recognizing fear or sadness on a person's face. They are truly unfeeling. The missing piece, our moral compass. So what separates the rest of us from this triad? It's not that we don't have selfish moments. It's that we have an inner brake system. Goleman calls these moral emotions, things like remorse, guilt, and shame. He tells the story of John Chaney, a college basketball coach who, in the heat of a game, ordered a player to commit hard fouls, which resulted in an opposing player breaking his arm. What did Chaney do? Overcome with remorse, he suspended himself from coaching, called the injured player to apologize, and offered to pay his hospital bills. That feeling, remorse, is our inner police force. It's what stops us from going too far. It requires empathy to know we've hurt someone and concern to feel bad about it. The dark triad? Their moral emotions are stunted, if they exist at all. Their inner police force is permanently off-duty. This chapter is a sobering look at the dark side of human nature, where the social brain is broken or has been deliberately shut down. Understanding these patterns isn't about diagnosing people at parties. It's about protecting ourselves. It's about recognizing the red flags of a purely I-it existence, so we don't get pulled into a game we can't win. Let's discuss this. The killer's quote about having to turn that part of me off is terrifying because it implies empathy is our natural default state. Have you ever been in a situation, perhaps at work or in a moment of intense competition, where you felt you had to consciously suppress your empathy to get a difficult job done? We've all encountered people with traits from the dark triad. Without naming names, think of an interaction you've had with someone who was highly narcissistic or Machiavellian. How did their lack of empathy or their intense self-focus make you feel? Goleman suggests that moral emotions like guilt and remorse are what serve as our inner compass. How does this idea of an internal guidance system resonate with your own experience when you've had to make a difficult choice between what you wanted to do and what you felt was the right thing to do?